Rained all freaking night. Clouds are cruising pretty fast. It literally just kind of quit downpouring a few minutes ago. It got a bright spot over there. Yeah, let's see what the day brings. I know it's going to be a wet one, right? No matter what. Thought I'd show you all my help I got this morning. Pretty typical if they're in here. I think I'm done scratching my head and everything else over here. Took 2 clamps to hold it because rubber squish. It wanted to go that way. Appears to be fairly even. I was off on where I marked over there to begin with. That's why there's so much clean above it. It's going to be kind of fun welding down below. But I kind of want it as low as I can get it without interfering with that cylinder. And it kind of worked out that it dropped it 1 inch when I clamped it on here, because that gives me that much more room up above to put a gusset. And I don't know if you saw yesterday the gussets that were on that originally to go to the cab of the last buggy. There's one right there. It's like a 3x4, 3.5x4, somewhere in there. Kind of looks like that'll look just about perfect right there. My original plan was run a tube across the top of the neck, but unfortunately where we got to climb over the boom on that side to get into the cab, that wasn't going to work. By the time I'd try to climb over that, I couldn't bend over far enough to make it in the cab, put it that way. So this is what it's going to be. The original plan was to run the wire loop through the tube to get the wire out to the lights. Yeah, well, I think what I'm going to do is what I've done on a lot of things. I'm either just going to zip tie it to the tube. I mean, that works just fine too. But I'm either going to zip tie it or weld a couple half chain links on there to zip tie it too. But on here, it really doesn't make any difference. I mean, it can zip tie around the tube just as well. Shouldn't be an issue. And like I said yesterday, I still got to figure out what to do for turn signal / warning light that's going to be out here, because I do need it. You know, there's nothing on this cab, no provisions, and I don't feel like, I already did all the wiring up there. I'm done. And that wire for coming out here has, for the work lights, that'll point to where the boom will be over there, so you can get a decent shot of that. And it's got for the make my brain work this morning, for the turn signals and warning lights. I might even put something on for forward shining lights, but I don't remember. It's been a while. But that's what I'm going to do right here. I'm going to get that stuck, and I wish I could really move these booms around, because it'd be nice to get that tacked on there good and get the boom out of the way. Just give you an idea what I don't have for room in here. I'm really close to my work. I can't get any farther away from it than right here. And then I got to do the same thing on the other side. I need to get some more shit out of the way here. That's what I've been working on this morning, getting that figured out there. And I was having a hard time. I was going to hook that ground clamp up on the chassis, and God, I couldn't figure out where to hook it without screwing something up, and there's no good place. Duh, I'm welding a piece to it. I can hook the ground clamp to the piece I'm welding on. I have no idea why my brain wasn't working right this morning, other than the fact that it rained all frickin' night, and I listened to most of it. Okay, Nelson, you asked for it. It's on the tripod, sitting on the bench or on a stool. We'll see if you can see some sparkles. I just gotta find my gloves again. And of course get a bugger on it. That don't want to knock off. Now you know one reason I don't always show the actual process. 10 minutes of video for 30 seconds of work, right? Whee! Figure the best way to get you to see it. There it is. That's 2 passes on the top and on the front side. I got a single on the back. Nothing on the bottom yet because I'm going to get this boom out of my way and I'm going to unhook that pin and swing that cylinder out so I can get in there better to do the bottom. And I'm changing my mind on my gusset again. My original plan was to run the support over the top. Well, I think I'm going to run a piece over the top and come out to here somewhere because I need an upright here for the boom to go against so it doesn't go in too far. And that's going to support this better because when I take the clamp off, I don't know how much wiggle it's going to have later. You know, I mean, on the old buggy, the gusset was right here. Try to get you in perspective, it was close to the end. And if I unzoom you, you can see better, right? Yeah, the old one was about where the ground clamp is. So, I'm going to find something to go across the top with. I don't know if I got any more 1.5 inches. Actually, that might be, no, it's 1.5 inches. Got to be 1.5 inches. I got some 2-inch up there, but I hate to use it. This is 8th wall, by the way, so it's not lightweight. But anyhow, there you see part of it. Well, the rain stopped and the sun came out. It's 8 o'clock our time. That means it's 11 o'clock in Ohio. So, rest in peace, Bruce. It was a pleasure to know you, even though we never actually met. Appreciate all the help that you gave everyone. Oh man, it won't focus very well. There it is. There you go. Stacking dimes with a MIG. Little stitch welding so I didn't burn through. Okay, a little gusset there on each side. This one's tacked in where it needs to be. That's just for a stop. Obviously, if you're too high, you're going to hit the cap. It'll probably get a gusset in here. The other side is just sitting there with level on it. And just got a piece of 1.5 inches. This is actually 1 3/4 8th wall. Now I knew it wasn't 2-inch, but we're gonna put 1.5 inches across, weld it right here on top of the frame and hit here, and that'll take the crap out of it. And yeah, at that rate, really don't need a gusset here either. But I'm waiting on tacking this one on. I got the piece cut to the length we need. Gotta get it clamped up here and see in case we need to do this way, because I want to get it, keep it as straight as I can. And that'll give us something if we choose to put a hood over the radiator, which really still ain't going to be a bad idea. Give us something to fasten to. But that ain't going to happen now. This is what I really turned it on the last time for. That still has oil on it from manufacturing. Not as bad as it could be. I usually try to wipe them down before they go up on the rack. Just use rags. Use paper towels. Rather than, if you wanted to use a foam brush, I think the foam brush will get ate up. If you're going to be welding on stuff, we use this all the time to clean up for paint. But if you're going to weld on stuff, that makes some bad stuff. So a little gasoline on there. It don't make the nasty, nasty fumes. And the other thing, don't use the frickin' ethanol crap. Because number one, it does make some nasty shit. It stinks anyway. I don't know how bad it is for you, but it stinks, the residue. You got to clean it up again to paint it anyway. And just makes a mess with the MIG welder coughing and sputtering and popping. Regular gas doesn't. You know, we used to actually use regular gas for paint thinner. Worked great. The new shit, you can't use that for anything other than running your car and ruining it. But, you know, that's their plan before we go to electric vehicles, right? Well, there you have it. For a forward-facing lead, I might go on top of this. Do like I did on the bottom. Drill a hole and weld a nut in. Now, when I'm done, this piece already has a drain made that way. This, and the one on the other side will all get, probably on the back side though, I don't like putting them on the front. We'll drill a hole down at the bottom. Because I don't care what you do in Oregon, at least in Western Oregon, you seal that sucker up, you better have it really, really hot when you do it. As in the whole thing kind of cherry hot. And you better seal it up quick. Otherwise, if you don't do that and get a good vacuum on it, it will condense and give it 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. Hey, bling. And that'll become a round tube when it freezes. It is not on here perfect. Hey, that would have been probably that tack. You can tell it's not perfect on the frame, but I think part of that's the frame, because from here to the base of the cab, which is all, you know, should be copacetic, I'm literally off a 32nd of an inch from end to end. And this piece is actually leaning forward a little bit. Otherwise, I wouldn't even be on top of the frame with it. But I got to go where, in between nozzles, where it used to be. So, the only part that's kind of welded solid is on top of the frame. The rest of it, this is all just cut. Look, another bling. Only because I got the volume turned up. And another one. I only do that when I'm welding, because I take this thing out of my pocket and leave it laying over there on the short wall or on the welder. Anyway, I'm going to grab lunch, then come back and make everything hot, and hopefully get it all painted anyway today. Well, if you want to see one of my worst paint jobs, there it is. I got runs everywhere. I don't care. It's painted. Only one going to see that, somebody gets close enough. And yeah, you already know it's not lined up exactly perfect, but everything is as close as it is going to be. And I didn't mask anything because that dust will take care of it. I thought about putting something up over the window. I just painted so it didn't go that way. So that part's done. And this one looks like it's kind of sagging, and maybe it is, I don't know. Got to be a little bit, because God knows they got to match up the old booms. I know this one does a little bit. put the boom sets down flat into the cradles. So. And that's it for now. Ain't gonna try to move it tonight. Let the paint get cured good before we swing the booms in, and probably smear a little something on there so things don't stick and beat it up. We'll see. Until then, got the wires tied up out of the way right there, and got a bunch of stuff cleaned up. Got the pan back on the flywheel housing. What she didn't do is get a lot of other stuff moved, but you know, yeah, everything that was in the way. But we get this out. That'll make a big difference. And yes, there's a leak. That's got grease in it. Maybe they never even put a seal on the bottom. I don't know, but I don't think it's worth me tearing the whole thing apart to get to it. Let's let it leak. Can't do too much, right? Other than keep the dust down. So anywho, there's our day for today. I'm done. Hopefully tomorrow I can figure out if I can move it the way I want to or not. Hopefully tomorrow it doesn't rain all frickin' day. Sun's shining now at the end of the day, right? But it's been dumping all afternoon, so. And yes, they're black. You know, from in there, the black's gonna help because I'm looking at something red coming in. I thought about trying to paint them red, and it's like, no, it's not worth it. And it's not over 8 foot wide. Fender back there is 8 foot. And once the wheel spacers are on, even the skinny tires are going to be farther out than that. And the wide tires, even farther. So, not overly worried there. And I should be able to see the ends of it well enough from the seat that maybe I won't run into stuff, right? Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you all had a good day.